I am your host, Fari Rachikuni. Thank you very much for joining me this glorious Thursday afternoon. It's a glorious day, not a cloud in the sky here in Johannesburg. So, what better place I thought to have this video than in the garden, under the trees, wonderful shade, and that sort of thing. So, that's me. Anyway, today I'll be just reacting to a couple of statements that were made by the Bafana Bafana head coach. For those that don't know, Bafana Bafana is the South African football team head coach, Mr. Hugo Broos. You know, um, after the two games that we had over this past weekend, as well as yesterday. We won on Saturday. We played against Sierra Leone, where we won by 4 goals to nil. And then yesterday we played against our neighbors Botswana, where we won by a goal to nil. It was a poor game overall, poor performance from the boys. So yeah, man, we were lucky to end that game with a 1-0 win. So anyway, a couple of comments that were shared by the coach. I have my interest though is in two specific comments from him. The first one was regarding the quality of the players, the quality they possess in the PSL in comparison to what is needed in international football. And then the other one was that since his appointment, he hasn't actually sat down with the 16 PSL coaches just to have conversations with them and try to find some solutions to issues that are facing South African football in general in terms of player welfare, that sort of thing. So the first quote attributed to him was this, and I will give it to you um, exactly as he put it. So this is the coach after the game against Botswana last night, and I quote: "It is clear that some players are maybe not good enough or not able to be on this level. The PSL is one thing, but international games are tougher, are quicker, and are different. Now, if I was involved in football as an administrator, as a coach, as whether in development or in the higher echelons, I would be very concerned, and I would be it. That quote wouldn't sit well with me. It's damning, as well as an indictment on the players, as well as coaches and administrators in the country. Basically, the coach is saying the players are simply not good enough to go from PSL to international level. Now, we are a country that wants to participate, compete, and eventually get the better of our opposition. Now, if our players simply can't make the jump from PSL to international level, how the hell then are we going to get the better of of the opposition? Um, he's saying basically we are slower. You know, international football is of a higher level to the level that our players are at, and to a high end, the quality is way better than the quality that is at the PSL, or rather in the PSL. That is absolutely shocking. That means our players are not prepared, and they haven't been prepared well enough to make the leap from club football to international football. So that speaks to the lack of coaching, and that speaks to the lack of development that has gone before them. So it is shocking, and it's a disgrace, to be honest. Secondly, in terms of development, quite frankly, we don't have the right people that are running our development structures. Just because you've played at the highest level, or you've played some form of football, doesn't give you the right, or shouldn't qualify you to be involved in our development. In my view, I think the most qualified players, or people should be heading and being involved in our development. So I would put there a limit in terms of the caliber of person that can be involved in our development. The one criteria that I'll put is uh, the qualification in terms of your coaching badges. It's simply not good enough for you to have a SAFA D license, SAFA C license, SAFA B license. No, you must have the minimum criteria would be a SAFA A license, and getting them to have CAF, CAF, CAF badges, you know, as a minimum entry into our development, because the way it is now, every Tom, Dick, and Harry can come in, no matter how they stink the place out as a coach in development, they are given a role as in our structures. So I would enforce that at SAFA level, and I would enforce that at PSL level. Tell the teams that in order for you to have coaches in development, these are the criteria, these are the standards that they should meet. If they don't meet those standards, sorry, you guys do not qualify, you know. Second, another thing, the level of coaching in the country, be it at in the top echelons, is generally very, 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 very poor, or rather, mostly very, very poor. Um, I've been to a couple of training sessions, just sat as an observer, and what I've seen there, my goodness me, this is like uh, this is like what's the word I can use? This is like entry level stuff, if I may say. I found it so disappointing. The tactical, um, um, the things that they are doing in this training sessions. Gosh, I couldn't believe these were like professional football teams. So, I mean, the other thing, whilst I'm on that, a couple of weeks ago, Royal AM were playing in the Confederations Cup against, I just don't remember which team, and the two co-coaches couldn't sit on the in the dugout because they were not sufficiently qualified as per the standards at CAF. They had to have one of the assistants, a guy called Abraham Nteo, sitting there. Now, there's a picture of them at the ground in the stadium speaking to Nteo over the fence. I found that so disheartening, and it was an absolute disgrace that these two coaches didn't have the requisite coaching badges to sit in the dugout. It is so unprofessional of them, and unprofessional of the team as well, and unprofessional from the Premier Soccer League as well. It didn't bode well as as uh, as 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 the optics of it didn't actually bode well. So um, so that's a couple of things that I've identified in terms of the lack of quality, of why there's a lack of quality, the right quality in terms of the players in the country. And then the other statement that he made was he hasn't had an audience with the relevant coaches of the different teams here in South Africa since his appointment back in May last year. Now that is shocking. If 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 you take into consideration that the mere fact that the coaches of the 16 teams are dealing with these players day in and day out, so they would know their strengths, their weaknesses, their mannerisms, all these kind of things. And where better for the national coach to get intelligence than from the different coaches. Now, if the PSL are not willing to sanction that meeting, it speaks of their lack of quality and lack of leadership on their front as well. So yeah, man, the guy is fighting basically with one hand behind his back, as I said. So yeah, those are just a couple. Those That's just how I see it. And mind you, let me not absolve the players of responsibility as well, because I've been to a couple of players' homes, and how they behave and what they eat is not is not what you'd expect from a professional player. You are getting them eating magwinya, fat cakes, eating pap. They are eating, they are drinking, soft drinks like cold drink, all these things every single day. Now, how does a player expect to perform at optimal level if they're not looking after their bodies? And their bodies are ultimately what counts ultimately, because that is what is put on the field of play. So all round, the whole thing needs a makeover. It needs to be ripped apart and built from the bottom up. That is what I would do. Get the right people in the right place. Now the other thing as well is, I inquired with one of the guys that is heading one of the PSL clubs here in South Africa, and I inquired from him about if the PSL has a document, a fit and proper checklist in terms of when an owner wants to buy a club, does he go through a process, a fit and proper process, or a document, or a document where it states there and highlights what kind of owners they want, that sort of thing. And unfortunately, I haven't gotten a response from him. So the reason I say that is because our owners here in South Africa, they tend to interfere with the selection of the teams. They are more interested in getting out there in the media than actually doing the thing of running their football clubs day in and day out, appointing the right people to the right positions. Hence, we get our football basically stinking the place out, lack of quality all around. The PSL the last time I checked was valued at about 2.3 billion rand or 2.6 billion rand. I believe that they can get 10 times that amount if they put the right people in the right places to run South African football, or the PSL. Yeah. So basically, that's my rant or my views of the whole matter. Please give me your thoughts, send me your thoughts, your feedback. Please hit the like button, that's the red button there. Please subscribe as well. And yeah, give me your thoughts and your feedback in terms of what I've raised here in this video. Yeah, so like I said, please subscribe Champ Sports TV. That's on YouTube channel. Anyway, that's me for today, and till next time, folks. Cheerio.